Time for some packages. One of them I've been expecting from Jackson Kayak for a little while. They finally sent my team shirt. It's this like stretchy material, which is cool. You can see right there on the sleeve it says Jackson Kayak Fishing Team. And right there on the front, JK. They also sent me a hat. I love hats. How does that look? Not bad. Thank you, Jackson. About a week or so ago, I got contacted by the folks at Beast Coast Tungsten. They're the manufacturers of some tungsten punch jigs and some just traditional jigs. And I wanted to show them to you guys. I think they're a relatively new company. They're on Tackle Warehouse, in fact. These are called their Vanquish flipping jigs. And these are their perfect punch skirt jig things. Just to be clear, these don't have hooks on them because they're really not a jig. They're actually a punch skirt. This first color is called TW Deluxe Craw. And it's in a 1/2 ounce. It's got a lot of black and brown in it. Got these like glitter strands in them. And again, just to be clear, there's no hook in it. This is a punch skirt. But it's nice. I like the fact that it's tungsten because it's a really small profile. 1/2 ounce. I believe this one is called Vicious Bug. This is like a purple and kind of like a green pumpkin with some black and the same glitter strands in it. Just another 1/2 ounce punch skirt there. Now these are their Vanquish flipping jigs. This first one is called Elite Craw and it is in a 1/2 ounce. So that's in a 1/2 ounce, really small. This is the profile, the head profile of like a 3/8 ounce jig. Really small. But it kind of looks like an Okeechobee crawl color. Nice thick gauge wire hook there. 1/2 ounce flipping jig. The other color they sent me was called Bruise, and it is also in a 1/2 ounce. And this is just a black and blue jig. Again, the cool thing that sets these things apart are the fact that they're tungsten, so they really have a small profile head on them. This is like that 3/8 size head. Nice heavy wire hook there though. So thanks to the folks over there at Beast Coast. Again, I'll give you a good look at their packaging there. Check them out if you guys get the opportunity. I love that this thing is long sleeve. This is gonna help me from getting sunburned. Sweet. So in my last vlog, vlog number 2, I told you guys to leave some questions in the comment section. That way I could answer them in vlog number 3. I thought this would be kind of a fun thing to do. And a bunch of you guys left comments. So I want to say thanks. And I'm going to go ahead and answer a few of them right now. Atticus Klopfenstein. I probably butchered your name, dude. I'm sorry. He asked, what are your favorite places to fish in a kayak? Originally, the reason why I got into kayak fishing was because I wanted to go to some places that I couldn't get to when I was fishing on foot. I love fishing in smaller bodies of water with my kayak. With that being said, I have recently, within the last year, put a motor on my kayak, a little electric motor, and fishing out at places. I've put it on Shasta, I've put it on Clear Lake, and it's really fun out there too. I've been burned at the stake for putting a motor on my kayak by some of these people that think a kayak is just for paddling, but for me, it was just a means to get to where I wanted to go. I don't care if it has a jet engine on it, I just want to go where I want to go and I want to fish. I really like being able to fish out at Shasta too, and Shasta and Clear Lake are much different styles of fishing than when you're fishing out at a pond. I like them both in their own respects. Drew asked, things to know before getting a big rig. The boat is heavy and it's really hard to maneuver. You're definitely going to want a kayak cart, and there's not very many kayak carts that can accommodate such a heavy boat, especially when you have it loaded with gear. That's something that you have to overcome. The other thing is that you're definitely going to want an anchor. An anchor is probably going to be the most important piece of equipment. If you don't have an anchor, that could actually ruin your entire day. The boat is big, there's a lot of surface area, and when you're on it, it just makes it like a sail. It just, if you have any wind, it'll push you wherever, and you can't effectively fish areas when you're moving quickly. So anchor and an anchor trolley would be extremely important in my opinion to have if you're going to get a big rig. Here's a good question. Brad D. Rex asked, what steps would you take to start a YouTube channel? Logo, editing software, things of that nature, thanks. When you're starting a YouTube channel, none of that stuff that you mentioned is important. It really isn't. And there are people out there that have millions of subscribers and have just like the bare bones of what they need. YouTube channel is all about content, what you put out there. You have to like what you do. If you put stuff out there that you like and you would watch, then other people are gonna like it and watch it as well. There are people that don't like what I do. They don't like my channel for whatever reason. They don't like the content. And frankly, I don't really give a shit. I do what I do because I like it. Originally, I started doing lure reviews because I couldn't find anything about the lures that I liked and I wanted to buy on the internet. So I started doing these videos to make something for people that were like me, that liked lures, but wanted to know more about them. So that was how I started YouTube, and everything kind of just falls into place after that. Being successful on YouTube doesn't happen overnight. You have to stick with it. If you really like it, just stick with it and your subscribers will come over time. Isaac Choi asked me, how do you get your kayak around? Whatever body of water I'm going to, I use a trailer. I got the trailer from Harbor Freight. It was like 250 bucks on sale. I put it together. I bought the trailer specifically for the kayak. And it works fantastic. The trailer doesn't weigh very much and it's perfect for the big rig. So I bought the trailer, and then when I take it off the trailer, if they don't have a boat ramp, I use a kayak cart and I drag the kayak around like that. Joe Sweeney asked, can you talk more on your decision to mount a trolling motor on the Yak? I find myself debating whether or not to do it to my Trident 11. Mounting a motor on your kayak adds a significant amount of weight from the battery by itself. And if you're not willing to buy a lithium power cell for it, which is extremely expensive, you can expect to add somewhere in the neighborhood of 75 pounds to your boat. It might be a little bit less than that, but that's a lot of weight for some boats. The big rig handles it just fine, but my decision to mount it on there, I still feel like it was a really good decision. I don't use it all the time because it does add a lot of weight and it does make it cumbersome. But when I'm out at open bodies of water like Clear Lake or Shasta or something like that, it's really, really nice. I mean, I've paddled both lakes without the motor, and when you're trying to go fish for 6 or 7 hours, paddling for, you know, an hour there and an hour back sometimes, that gets really tiring, especially when you want to just fish. So having the motor on there was a really smart decision for me. But be prepared to be burned at the stake by the traditional kayak anglers. Vins107 asked, should Canelo Alvarez fight Triple G? Yes. Brandon DePiat, I probably butchered your name too, sorry dude, asked several questions. I'm only going to answer one. Have you ever thought about doing in-action lure tackle reviews on the water? You know, I get that question a lot. And the reason why I don't do it is that I don't get a ton of opportunities to just go out and fish. And so when I do go out and fish, I don't want to be spending all of my time trying to figure out camera angles and footage and stuff for a lure review. I want to go out there and I just want to fish. Now, I love making fishing videos and I love having the camera on for those, but to do something for as many lure reviews as I have, I think I have somewhere in the neighborhood of close to 200 probably now. It would be so difficult to do that for every single lure review, and I try to make my lure reviews very consistent, and that way you guys can compare lure to lure to lure. So it's really not in the cards for me to do something like that, and I don't see that happening in the future either. I could probably do it, but I don't think that the end would justify the means. Josh asks, are you in the military? I've been asked that question twice this week, and I probably get that asked about maybe a half dozen to a dozen times a year. No, I'm not in the military. No, I wasn't in the military. For those of you that were in the military and are currently in the military, I have a huge amount of respect for you guys. I don't know why I get that question asked a lot, but I do respect the hell out of people that are serving in our armed forces and protecting our country. So thank you guys. Cranking All Day asked me, how much did you spend on hard baits in total? I'm guessing he's asking how much do I think I have total wrapped up in hard baits. I did a count on my hard baits not that long ago, and I have somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000, about 1,000 hard baits. And I have hard baits ranging from $5 all the way up to $24, $25 and higher. So I would average that the price is somewhere around $10. So 10 times 1,000, there's probably about $10,000 in hard baits. Did I spend that amount on hard baits? No. Hunter Robbins asked, do you ever plan on buying a bass boat? Yes, actually I do plan on buying a bass boat. My son is getting older. It's one of my dreams to be able to take him out fishing with me. And right now, the only thing I can do is take him out on foot with me. It's difficult for him that he's at such a young age for him to be able to paddle a kayak effectively by himself. But taking him out on a boat would work really, really well. So that's something that I'm looking at. I don't know if it's gonna happen anytime soon, but it's certainly something that I'm looking at. But I won't give up kayak fishing because I love it. Ray C, and I believe that this is the same Ray C that it's been following me for years. Thank you for being loyal, dude. He asked, what do you do for work? What's your life experience, military, etc.? So there's the military thing again. I wasn't in the military. As far as work, I work in law enforcement, been doing that for a couple years. My life experience, I used to be a security contractor. I did that for a few years before I became a cop. I've been married to my wife for about going on 10 years now. We have 2 children. You see my son floating around in the video all the time. He's my little partner in this whole YouTube thing. Matt Wolder asks, do you have any tips on how to fish heavy primrose? Any baits that would go well with fishing primrose? Thanks. Primrose is difficult because primrose gets very dense. The farther you go back into it, it gets more and more dense. I've never caught a fish down in the deepest, heaviest stuff of primrose. And that's not to say that there aren't fish back in there. I normally target my fish around primrose towards the front portion of it. And if there's any openings leading up into it, even if it's just like 1 or 2 feet that are kind of just cut into it, I'll throw to that all the time. I usually like to pitch those areas. Usually take like a craw and maybe like a 1/2 ounce weight on my flipping stick because you're gonna need something heavy just in case you get hung up in that stuff. I've been hung up in it a lot. And just pitch it into like the little cuts. Bass Tube Channel asks, what's with the music at the end of your video? It's awesome, man. It's kind of like elevator music, and the reason why I put it on there is kind of like a segue into the end, and it's, you know, now we're going back down because it's elevator music and we're slowing it down now. That was the reason why I chose it. It's just kind of goofy. Hopefully by doing these vlogs, you'll get to know my personality. I'm a pretty fun-loving guy. I joke around a lot, probably a lot more than I should. I just thought it was funny to put it on there. On Yak Angler asked, how long have you been kayak fishing and what got you into it? That's a really good question. Actually, my dad got me into kayak fishing. He gave me one of his Pelican Castaway kayaks. I think it was a Castaway. He gave me one of his Pelican kayaks that he had because he knew I was fishing on the bank. I had just started my YouTube channel. And he said, hey, you know, you can have this kayak. Why don't you go ahead and fish out of this for a little while? The rest is history. When I started fishing out of that kayak, I loved every single minute of it. I can still remember the first day I was out on the water in that kayak. It was amazing. And catching a fish out of a kayak is even more amazing. I've been into kayak fishing for probably about 4 years now. Okay, guys, those are all the questions. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you guys found the question and answer segment a little bit interesting, at least. I have some plans with the question and answer segment that I want to do, and I'm going to try it out. I don't know how it's going to work, but I'm thinking about playing with my comment format, that maybe I might do something with how the comments are posed on the channel, and instead of writing back to people, I might just answer in a monthly vlog and just pull, you know, 20 questions out and just answer them in a vlog. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but I'm thinking about it. So comment down below in this video if you think that's a good idea. If you guys like this video, please hit that like button. It really helps a lot. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, make sure you subscribe to me. That way you get a direct link to all my new videos. And if you want to follow me on Instagram and Facebook, I'll leave a link down below. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching.